Welcome back to the Aslan Health Podcast. Today, we arrive at episode 3 in our Heart Rate Variability series, Raising HRV, Renewing Resilience, One Habit at a Time. In episode 1, we revealed what HRV is and how it reflects the flexibility of your nervous system. In episode 2, we reset how we think about tracking it, moving from anxiety to awareness, from fear to feedback. And today, in episode 3, we'll shift to renewing your well-being with practical tips for increasing your HRV for a lifetime. How to produce a nervous system that bends but doesn't break, that can adapt and not collapse, that's resilient, rested, recovered, restored, renewed, refreshed, and returned to peace. This requires something that's often overlooked: awareness and intentional formation. Because, friend, HRV is not to be hacked, it is to be cultivated. You cannot broker a false peace with your nervous system's physiology through constraint or control, but rather through consistent, compassionate care. Not by castigation or chastisement, but through the daily gift of nurture and grace. So today, I want to walk you through the foundational pillars, the training, the tools, and the techniques that you can use to raise your HRV. Not by chasing the number, but by improving the rhythm of your life. Are you ready to grow?
Welcome to the Aslan Health Podcast, where science meets soul. Your host for this program is Dr. Mike Hauman, an experienced physician, a certified functional medicine provider, a certified insight coach practitioner, and a devoted follower of Jesus Christ. If you're tired of feeling stressed out, exhausted, overwhelmed, or stuck in survival mode, you're in the right place. So take a deep breath. Let's be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Here's Dr. Mike.
Let me begin today with a story, not about a wearable or some patient's amazing HRV numbers, but a story about a garden. Several years ago, I walked past an abandoned home in my neighborhood. It was a property where the backyard used to be beautiful. You could see that there were hints of former glory, care, order, detail, and design. But now a fallen fence, a toppled trellis, and sprawling separated stonework. Unfortunately, neglect, disorder, the passage of time, and the weeds had all won. I stood there only to hear the voice in my head say, "Oh my, I think this is too far gone." And friend, that's exactly what a lot of people feel like when they evaluate their life and the state of their nervous system. Of course, they don't say, "Oh, I must have a low HRV." But they do say things like, "Why am I always on edge? I feel like I can never calm down. I sleep, but I don't feel rested. I'm wired, but I'm always tired. I'm just so exhausted." And then, finally, acceptance. Well, I'm getting older. I guess this is just my new normal. Well, friend, if that's how you feel today, surviving, not thriving, only you can change the outcome. So, back to that garden for the rest of today's story. After another year and a foreclosure, a new owner purchased the property and began caring for it. This owner didn't try to fix it all on one Saturday. There was no heroic montage or quick fix cover-up with a dump truck full of mulch. There was no sprint to an HGTV total transformation weekend makeover. He did something far less dramatic and far more effective. He showed up every day. He pulled weeds for 30 minutes. That's it. He watered the soil, he added some compost, trimmed some dead branches, removed the trash, and added a few simple plants. Nothing fancy. He did something that mattered more than most people realize. He kept going. He persevered. At first, there wasn't much change. In fact, some days it looked a little bit worse, because when you start pulling weeds, you expose bare dirt. And bare dirt can look like failure if you don't really understand the process. But over time, everything improved. The garden became vibrant, alive, ordered, and beautiful again. And that, my friend, is renewal. That's how you can raise your HRV and renew your system's resilience one intentional decision at a time. Because HRV at its core isn't forcing your heart to do more, it's actually providing your body with the right conditions for recovery. To relax, to turn off the alarm, to exhale, to come out of threat mode and to return to a resilient, healthy baseline. And here's the part I want you to hear. A neglected nervous system doesn't need a harsh coach, doesn't need more work and a long to-do list. It needs a faithful gardener, purposeful, patient, consistent. So don't try to rip out every weed in just one day or rebuild your soil overnight. You don't shame the ground for being dry. You just start watering again. You add the necessary nutrients, you show up, and you nurture. And when you do, the beauty is your body, like the garden, reliably responds and produces good fruit. With that in mind, let's address 6 foundational pillars to establish and support your growing success in improving HRV. Pillar 1. Sleep is the master recovery tool. If you only remember one thing from today, remember this. Sleep is your nervous system's recovery workshop. This is when your brain clears waste, your body repairs tissue, hormones recalibrate, emotions get filed, and your immune system builds resilience. It's when your HRV tends to rise. In fact, many of the HRV improvements people seek are really just sleep improvements in disguise. So your renew practice here, well, choose a realistic, consistent bedtime. Aim for about 8 hours of quality sleep. Avoid late meals, alcohol, blue light, and overheated surroundings. Wind down, lower the lights, and reduce your evening stimulation. Then end your day in spiritual surrender with thanksgiving and gratitude, not doom scrolling. Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety." That's not just a verse. That's divinely prescribed medicine for your nervous system. Pillar 2. Controlled breathing, which is the rapid result lever that you can control. You probably know that it's difficult to instantly change your HRV number, but you can start shifting your physiology in real time through controlling your breath. When you elongate your exhale, you stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. You send a signal to your system, we are safe. I discussed this in detail in the Aslan Health podcast series on panic attacks. A renew practice here to try is focus on your breathing at least twice a day for 2 minutes. Try box breathing at 4 seconds, which we discussed in that podcast, or the 4-7-8 technique described in detail in that podcast as well. Add scripture if you like. For example, inhale, Lord, you are always with me. Exhale, I release to you what I cannot carry. This is not some kind of mysticism. It's God-designed physiology in action done with intention. Pillar 3, exercise, which in the right dose builds resilience. Now, too little movement decreases resilience, but too much intense activity without recovery suppresses HRV. We're aiming for a balance, enough movement to challenge, enough rest to restore. So your renew practice here, build a stable, repeatable activity routine. That's walk, run, bike, swim, whatever works best for you. Add gentle stretching and strength training 2 to 3 times per week. Respect and protect your recovery days. That's where muscle growth happens. So if you're just starting this habit, walk 20 to 30 minutes most days. If you're already training, alternate activities and intensities, then track how your body responds to each. HRV often drops after intense workouts. Remember that. That's not bad, it's feedback. Recovery time will then bring it back up to normal. Pillar 4, nutrition. Feed the system, don't fry it. Our nervous system needs stable fuel, and HRV tends to suffer when we experience things like blood glucose instability, dehydration, inflammatory foods, poor nutrition, overeating late at night, undereating throughout the day. So your renew practice here is eat protein at breakfast each day for a good start. Hydrate early in the day. Prioritize whole, unprocessed foods. Limit or eliminate alcohol and late-night meals, and reduce consumption of simple sugars. This isn't about restriction or reaction. It's restoration and renewal. We are what we eat. The food you eat is your body's only source of fuel and building material. Are you feeding chaos or calm? Your choice. Pillar 5, stress. Your soul, the scriptures, the Sabbath, and your social life. The deep work here is being, not doing. Your HRV isn't just a physical sign, it reflects your emotional state as well. It carries the weight of your spiritual unrest, your internalized fear, your unprocessed grief, your loneliness, disconnection, trauma, shame, relational discord, and so much more. And this is why renewal isn't just about sleep, steps, and sustenance. It's about soul restoration. There are so many important renew practices in this pillar. Here's some, for example: daily quiet time with the Lord, scripture meditation, journaling, gratitude practices, time in nature, deepening your relationships, authentic intimacy, community connection, Sabbath rest, and many more excellent choices. Isaiah 30:15 reminds us, "In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." We do not heal by pushing harder. We heal by returning to our Creator and Sustainer, the lover of our souls. We're refreshed when we stop to ask Him for directions. Friend, wisdom truly is seeing all of life from God's perspective. Lastly, supplemental support when it makes sense. Contrary to common marketing schemes and pitches, supplements are not a universal cure-all. But in certain cases, they can offer helpful support, kind of like fertilizer for your garden. Some evidence-supported nutrients may assist in improving your HRV and stress resilience. These include magnesium glycinate, which is calming and sleep supportive; omega-3 fatty acids with resolvins for inflammation reduction and resolution; L-theanine to modulate neurotransmitters and to promote calm alertness; lavender extract to reduce baseline anxiety if it happens to be present; and then adaptogens if they're appropriate. All of these can be found at the Aslan Health Dispensary, with details in my existing protocols, a number of them on stress, on panic, and on anxiety. You'll find them there. The Renew guideline here is, as always, ask your own healthcare provider if a supplement is best or safe for you, given your medical conditions, your diagnosis, your medications, and your health history. If you do begin a product, start with one new supplement at a time and observe the result. Start low on the dose and go slow, allowing time to identify any effects or side effects you may experience. Track each product, your dose, and your body's response. Supplements are meant to support your other pillars, not replace them. Now that we covered those details, how about you try a gentle HRV Renew plan? First, establish your baseline HRV, then pick one improvement from each pillar: quality sleep, controlled breathing, meaningful movement, natural nutrition, a scripture-saturated, satisfied soul. And then repeat them daily for 30 days. track your HRV, and notice how you feel. God designed the human body with an incredible capacity for renewal. The Apostle Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 4:16, "We do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day." Did you catch that? Day by day, not in one heroic day. And friend, that's exactly how resilience is built. So when you think about improving your HRV, think less like a technician and more like a gardener. Sleep is watering the soil. Breathing practices are loosening the dirt that's been compacted by stress. Movement's like sunlight, steady, life-giving. Nutrition is compost, rebuilding what's been depleted. And spiritual practices like prayer, scripture, worship, connection, Sabbath rest, well, they're the shade and the shelter that remind your whole system that you are safe, supported, and that you're not alone. Your nervous system learns through repetition. So if your HRV has been low, or if your recovery's been poor, if your body's been living like it's always bracing for impact, don't ask, "How do I fix all this today?" Ask instead, "What one habit can I plant and nurture this week to move me forward?" Just one. Then plant it, protect it, nurture it, and repeat it. Because resilience is not built by ambition, it's built by consistently making healthy choices over time. And that, my friend, is faithful stewardship. In chapter 1 of the Psalter, the psalmist paints this picture. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. Notice that phrase, in its season. Not instantly, not overnight, but in time, by God's grace as you renew. God's plan is not for your body to become invincible, but His design does invite you to become resilient, to bend without breaking, to recover well so that you can be fully available for His purposes. That works best when your nervous system knows how to return to peace. So today, choose to tend your garden. Begin your HRV renewal plan. And then tomorrow, show up and do it again. Your body will relearn safety. Your mind will enjoy clarity. Your heart will regain a peaceful rhythm. As a closing encouragement today, if your HRV is low right now, if your body feels wired, exhausted, or stuck, that's not a verdict. It's a signal. And signals don't need shame, they need an appropriate response. Isaiah chapter 40 says, "He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might he increases strength. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." My friend, God sees your strain and your load. He knows if your nervous system is tired. He's not asking you to fix it all today, and certainly not all by yourself. But He does invite each one of us to abide in Him, to begin this journey, to rest, to breathe, to move, to nourish, to reconnect, to Sabbath rest. Then, bit by bit, your body will learn what your soul has always known. You were never meant to white-knuckle your way through life. You were made for rhythm with Him, in peace, renewed and restored. Well, friend, this is Dr. Mike Hauman with the Aslan Health Podcast. Thank you for listening. Subscribe and follow for more. May the Lord renew your strength and teach your body to exhale again. Until next time, my friend, may His peace be with you.